My, those are pretty hot boots.
Thank you. Oh,
those are loafers, then. But they're hot anyway. Are you a trendsetter or a follower?
It depends what's in, actually. I was a trendsetter when I was about 14. I hope. I think. I don't know.
Was that a lot of pressure?
Yes. Well, at that time, I was doing a lot of jean jackets, a lot of jeans, things that were appropriate for my audience to wear. And there was a lot of parental concern to be appropriate, and I wanted to be affordable as well.
Really? So you think about all that kind of stuff before you decide what your image is going to be?
Yeah.
Now you've changed. You look altogether different now.
Yeah.
Did you do that deliberately, too?
That just came with growing up, I think, just wearing different things. A lot of things that I wore back then, I look at and I go, ooh, that's terrible. Can you hide that for me?
I had an afro.
She says growing up, she's 19 on her third album, and I'm older. I'm, thank you very much. I'm in my late 30s, my very late 30s. I'm 44, so that's unbelievable. But I was pathological.
Is dating hard for you in your position?
Dating's hard for me in my position. But they keep me busy in the paper, so I just, like, wake up and read about what I'm doing in my life and don't make any plans, you know?
Have you ever dated someone after you were linked incorrectly? Who have you been linked with that was just ludicrous?
We were just tied up backstage, but...
But that was to make sure you showed up.
A lot of different people, radio DJs, famous people, a lot of people. I'm sure y'all know.
When's the first time you fell in love?
I was about 11 when I first fell in love.
What was so special? She moves fast. She moves fast. Just slides through. What was so special about this relationship at 11?
He was a jerk. I don't know. I have no idea. Now I look back and I go, what was I thinking of? I have no idea. I think just he was the cool guy in school, so I wanted to be, like, seen with that person.
How did you know you were in love? I mean, 11 is awful early to date. I mean, you have Dennis here who didn't date till he was 39.
I didn't get married till I was 39. I had a couple of dates along the way. Thank you very much.
But you know what I'm saying.
I'm a loser. Thank you very much.
We're still friends, but as a boyfriend, he was a real jerk. I mean, he treated me like I wasn't there, and I think I liked that for some reason. I was like, hey, that's great.
Kids grow up. I'll tell you, that's another trend. Kids grow up much faster than, I hate to sound paternal, but...
Tiff, now, when you were very young, you had some very public legal problems with your mom. Is everything okay now?
Everything's okay now.
How'd that come about?
My stepfather and I think like so many other teenagers or people out there, they have problems with their family, and that's very common. But I think because I was in the spotlight, a lot of people wanted to get involved in it and know about it, and I had a lot of family friends who spoke about it, took the opportunity to say, I want to be on TV, and really they didn't know the situation, so they made things worse. And there was no communication in my family. My mom and I lived together in an apartment, and when we didn't want to talk to each other anymore, we went into our own little corners, and I was going through a teenage thing where I felt that my mom didn't understand me, and my friends were, like, you know, giving me advice, and I went through that, and it was more than that, too. I was worried about, she had the right to say, well, no, you're not going to tour, and my career meant the world to me. And my stepfather had always been somebody who was a threat to me, and I was a threat to him. He was always in the middle, and my mother was in the middle, and we just didn't understand each other. Right. And I went through court, and as a minor, you really don't have any rights to say anything. So I had to go to get emancipated, which that's not what I was seeking. I was seeking for a trust fund and a few other things. And I went to court, and it wasn't in the best of places, but we finally had to sit down, lock ourselves into a room, and talk. And after I started talking to my mom and she started talking to me, I was like, I was wrong, and she was wrong in a lot of things, and we have that open communication now. And for the first time, she's my friend.
Well, that sounds cool. So it's a good thing everything worked out. What was your first performance?
I was 9 when I performed.
Where?
I was doing country and western music. Sorry.
Country, and was that just a love of yours?
No, my parents, I grew up and they
She used to
listened
work under the name of Johnny Cash, by the way.
I knew he was gonna say something. I just knew it. No, I grew up listening to country and western music. At that time, I was more into boys, into things in school. And when I actually grew up, compared to now, my sister going to school, we really didn't go to concerts until later on when I was about 11. Then I started going to concerts and started really getting into more music as far as going to school. But I had always come home and I would practice listening to the radio. And I did one concert at the school. No, thank you,
the
no
kids
more.
didn't like it. They didn't get
No.
country and western at all.
I mean, I didn't really blame them. You know, my parents were just so proud, and they never had me sing if I didn't want to. But they really convinced me that it was something to do. And I went in there and I sang country. And I'm from Norwalk, so they were like, what? You know, go home, you know?
Well, how did you go on? What made you go on from that bad experience, decide to go on and try it again?
It took me a while. I never told my
you were,
friends.
12?
Right.
No, I never told my friends I had an album out until it was in the stores.
Really?
And then people started coming up to me and say, yeah.
You did an album and your parents didn't know?
No, my friends didn't know. I would tell them that I babysat.
You're not Jewish, are you? Jewish mothers would never, ever let be that separated. Am I making myself clear?
Yeah. That your mother had a very strong influence on you is what's very clear at this moment. But now you started late with your first check, like for All the Money in the World.
No, they used to, in country and western music, they used to pass around the hat. And the first time I sang, I made $200.
Woo.
And my mom would make my outfits, and so we'd always reinvest in.
That's a big hat.
I was like, bring it on.
Well, we'll come back with Tiffany and Dennis Wolfberg and wrap this.